All right, so this is the first video of Unit 1, hence the title up here. I just labeled it Unit 1 Video 1. We're just going over some basics that most likely you already know coming into this class, but it's just some terminology that you want to be used to. So that way when we're actually going through more complicated things, the terminology makes sense. Okay, so first thing is when we talk about the word operations, all that means is we're talking about addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. That's all an operation is. Okay, so nothing fancy, just it's adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. When we talk about integers, okay, those are a specific type of number. Now, it's the numbers you're going to use most likely more than anything else, um, and those are whole numbers that include positives, negatives, and 0. Okay, so whole numbers that are positive, negative, and 0. So we're not talking about no fractions right now, no decimals, just nice numbers to work with. Okay, and right now we're just going to kind of focus on adding and subtracting with positives and negatives because I know that seems to be a issue that comes up a lot. People always get the answer correct, except they miss the negative part. So I want to be extra careful with that. One way when you're working with these problems to kind of visualize what's going on is to think of a number line. Draw one right here. Okay. Now a number line can have any numbers on it in order. It doesn't really matter. For this, I'm just going to put 0 in the middle for now, and then let's go to 3. And then we'll go -1, -2, -3. Okay, so one way you can think about adding and subtracting integers is just moving left and right on a number line. For example, let's say you start at -2, right? And the question is -2, and you want to add 4, right? So if you're adding, that direction is to the right. So adding is always to the right-hand side. Okay? If you're subtracting, that means you are going left. Okay, so for this question, if we wanted to go -2 and want to go +4, all that really means, write that right up here. So -2 plus 4 means we're starting here and we're going to the right 4 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're ending up right there. So -2 plus 4 is +2. Okay, that's one way you can kind of just visualize what's going on. Maybe you don't want to draw a number line every single time, that's fine, but you can kind of visualize in your head of what's going on. As another example, let me scroll down a little bit. Let's do another one. Okay, so example, let's stick with small numbers to make it super easy right now. Let's go with -6, and then we're going to go -3. Okay. Now again, maybe you don't want to draw a number line every single time. That's fine, but you can kind of just visualize in your head what's actually going on. Now the numbers on the number line, you can put whatever numbers you want. Obviously, you want to stick close to the ones we have. So I want to put -6 in the middle. So then -5, -4, and then -7, -8, -9. Okay. Now this question says we are starting at -6 and we are subtracting, so we're going to go left. I'm going to go left 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. So negative 6 minus 3 is negative 9. Okay, so that's just one way you can visualize it. Another way you can kind of think about it is, especially if you're working with larger numbers. For example, negative 45 plus 13. Okay, now I don't know about you, but I don't want to draw a number line that large. Okay, so another way to kind of visualize it is to kind of make a table, because essentially what we're doing is we're combining two numbers, right? We're combining negative numbers and positive numbers. We have negative 45, so negative 45, and we have positive 13. Okay, now when we're combining numbers that are both positives and negatives, it's a subtraction problem essentially. Okay, so a lot of students will go like this, and they'll say, well, 45 minus 13, you can kind of do the basic subtraction, and you get 32. But they'll miss something. Now, 32 is not the correct answer. It's very close, but it's not quite there. So in this problem, which one has more? Is there more negatives or more positives? Okay, so there are more negatives than positives. Okay, what that means is that once you've done this subtraction problem, the result, because there was more negatives to start with, our answer our leftovers have to be negative, because there was more negatives than there were positives. Okay, so the answer to this one is not 32, but negative 32. Now, unfortunately, on a quiz or a test, if you miss that negative, it is considered wrong. So don't be extra careful and make sure you do it as correct as possible. Okay. There's one other thing I want to show you in this video. If I'm going too fast, feel free to pause. You can always rewind. That's the nice thing of having a video. I'm going to start a fresh page to show you this one. So let me add a page. Okay. And sometimes you will have to simplify operations before you do anything. Oops, operations. Meaning you can't just go and combine them right away. There's some work you got to do beforehand. Okay? That happens when it looks something like this. When you have 51 plus a negative 32. Okay? The thing that should stand out right away is that we have these back-to-back operations. Okay, we can't simplify that when it currently looks like this. So whenever you see the back-to-back operations, you have to simplify it. Okay, the way the simplifying works is there's three possibilities. Don't go off the side over here. Whenever you have a positive and a negative, okay, the negative will always win out. Positive and negative, the negative wins. Second possibility is if they're both negative. This is where the saying comes in, two negatives make a positive. So double negatives mean positive. And then the simple one is if they're both positive, nothing changes. Okay, so that's the kind of key when you're working with these double operations or back-to-back operations. Okay, so right off to the side right here, I'm going to say back-to-back operations must be simplified. Okay, so going back to this problem, we have a positive and a negative, so that means, looking at my key over here, positive, negative means the negative wins out. So now I have 51 minus 32. Okay, and if you need to off to the side, never be afraid to just go off to the side and do the math vertically. Sometimes that helps. 51 minus 32. Or if you're using a calculator, that's fine as well. Make sure you enter it in the calculator correctly. That's why the simplifying is important. Okay, 51 minus 32, and we get 19. Okay, so don't forget that you have to simplify the operations whenever they're back to back like this. Okay. Um, at this point, what I would like you guys to do is I want to put 4 questions on the screen down here, and I would like you guys to pause the video, and then I want you guys to try it on your own. Okay. All right. So I want you guys to try the following. Okay. So number 1, go ahead and do 15 minus 12. Number 2, go ahead and do 7 plus negative 3. And then number 3, go ahead and do 10 plus a negative 5. Okay, at this point, go ahead and pause the video and try those questions on your own, and then we'll come back and we'll check answers. All right, so hopefully you had a chance to pause the video and try the questions on your own. It is very important as we go through these videos that you do pause the video, try the questions. Don't be afraid to get it wrong, but make sure you try it. Okay, but you can go ahead and check your answers for the 3 questions. Number 1, you should have got positive 27. Number 2, you should have got positive 4. And number 3, you should have got positive 5. Okay. If you got those, congratulations. If you didn't, or if you have questions, don't be afraid to reach out to me and ask questions. Either you can talk during our normal online sessions, or feel free to email me. That is it for this video.